Hello, Compass Charter Schools, learning coaches, and scholars. This is Stephen Thompson, your elementary school coordinator. Welcome to Introduction to Growth Mindset. In the month of September, we're going to be focusing on growth mindset. This year, we're going to have theme units. Each month, we're going to have a different unit and a different concept that we're going to explore with our scholars. Now, the entire school is doing growth mindset in the month of September. Elementary school is doing growth mindset. What I want to do today is show you a video that explains what growth mindset is, and then after that, we're going to talk about some ways to implement growth mindset in your home on a daily basis with your children. So first thing I want to do is show you a video that explains what growth mindset is. And the video is by Carol Dweck. She is a professor at Stanford University. Now, here at Compass Charter Schools, we like to tie everything back to our mission and our vision. So our mission and vision is simply this. Our mission statement is to inspire and develop innovative, creative, self-directed learners one scholar at a time. And our vision is to create a collaborative virtual learning community, inspiring scholars to appreciate the ways in which arts and sciences nurture a curiosity for lifelong learning and prepare scholars to take responsibility for their futures. So we're going to focus on inspiration and development. And the key thing we want to give to your children is innovation, creativity, and self-direction, because we're thinking about preparing them for their future. And growth mindset is a great way to be able to put us on that path towards innovation, creativity, and self-direction. So let's take a minute here. We're going to look and listen to a video by Carol Dweck. Again, Carol Dweck is a professor at Stanford University. She did a lot of research with children and growth mindset. So all of this is something that you can do, you can take away, and you can use at home today and every day. One of the things that I've been thinking about a lot is what goes on in your homes and how to help you on a day-to-day basis. And I want to go do a little bit more than just interacting with curriculum, but I want to interact with all of you on a personal basis. So I'm going to give you Carol Dweck. Here we go.
In my work, we find that some students have a fixed mindset about their intellectual abilities and talents. They think intelligence is just a fixed trait. You have a certain amount, and that's that. This is the mindset that makes kids afraid to try because they're afraid to look dumb. But other students have a growth mindset. They believe that intelligence can be developed through their effort, dedication, learning, and mentorship from others. They don't think everyone's the same or that anyone can be Einstein, but they understand that even Einstein wasn't the guy he became before he put in years and years of dedicated labor. I'm going to organize this by telling you about a study we did with hundreds of students making the transition to 7th grade. They're about 13 years old. It's an extremely difficult transition. The work gets substantially harder, the grading gets more stringent, the environment becomes less personal. And that's a crucial time. It's a time when many students turn off to school. So as they entered, we measured their mindsets. That is, we saw whether they believed intelligence was fixed or could be developed. We monitored their grades in math over the next 2 years. We also measured a lot about their attitudes toward learning. They had entered 7th grade with just about identical achievement test scores, but by the end of the first term, their grades jumped apart and continued to diverge over the next 2 years. The only thing that differed were their mindsets. Now, let's see why and how this happened. The first thing we found was that they had completely different goals in school. The number one goal for kids in a fixed mindset is look smart at all times and at all costs. So their whole lives are oriented toward avoiding tasks that might show a deficiency. But in a growth mindset, where they believe intelligence can be developed, their cardinal rule is learn at all times and at all costs. That brings us to the second mindset rule In a fixed mindset, effort is a bad thing. They believe if you have ability, you shouldn't need effort. And if you need a lot of effort, it's a sign that you don't have ability. I believe that belief, that if you have ability, you shouldn't need effort, is one of the worst beliefs that anyone can have. I think it's why so many of our promising students don't fulfill their potential. They go along, coasting along, not trying that hard. The other kids have to try. One day they have to try too, and they can't do it. Whereas students in a growth mindset say effort is what activates their ability. And rule number 3, in a fixed mindset, a setback or deficiency measures you and reveals your limitations. So what we find is that those students in a fixed mindset try to hide their mistakes or run from their mistakes, conceal their deficiencies. But those in a growth mindset think mistakes, setbacks, natural part of learning. It's what happens when you take on challenges. So a fixed mindset gives no way for students to handle difficulty. They may get discouraged, give up, flee, or become defensive, acting bored. Often this statement, it's boring, it's a cover for a fixed mindset. It means I'm afraid to try, or acting out, blaming the teacher or material. How are these mindsets transmitted? We've studied this in a number of ways, but maybe the most interesting way is through praise. For 15 years, we have studied how adults' praise affects students. We undertook this work at the height of the self-esteem movement, when the gurus were telling us all to praise our children's ability, tell them how brilliant and talented they are. But for 15 years, we have found praising children's intelligence harms them. It puts them into a fixed mindset and turns them off to challenging learning. Let me tell you about a series of studies we did with 10 and 11-year-olds. We brought them to a room in their school. We gave them 10 problems from this nonverbal IQ test initially. They did pretty well because they were matched to their age level, and each child received one form of praise. A third of them got intelligence praise. Wow, that's a really good score. You must be smart at this. Or process praise. That's about the process they engaged in. Could be their strategy, their effort, their focus, their persistence. Wow, that's a really good score. You must have tried really hard. And the control group. Wow, that's a really good score. I won't talk much about them because they tended to be in the middle. Now, if you listen carefully to the messages that are embodied in each statement, the first one says, I value intelligence. The second says, I value process. Let's see what happened. First, yes, indeed, praising intelligence put kids into a fixed mindset compared to praising the process. But the most astonishing thing to us was that praising intelligence turned kids off to learning. Because after we praised them, we said, what do you want to do now? Anything's fine with us. You want a hard task you can learn from, but you might make mistakes? Or do you want a task that's like something you're already good at? The majority of kids who were praised for their intelligence rejected the chance to learn in favor of something they were sure to do well on. But those praised for the process overwhelmingly wanted the hard task they could learn from. They didn't feel they were in jeopardy if they struggled for a while. Later, we gave everyone a difficult set of problems. And here we found that those who were praised for intelligence lost their confidence, didn't enjoy the problems anymore. And even when we went back to the easier problems, their performance suffered. Those who were praised for the process remained confident. They saw these problems were harder. Many of them said the hard ones were their favorites. And when we went back to the easier ones, their performance flourished because they remained engaged and they remained learning. A few months ago, we published a study showing that mothers' praise to their babies 1 to 3 years of age, predicted that child's mindset and desire for challenge 5 years later. So now I feel justified when I intervene with mothers at airports who are telling their babies that they're geniuses. I have the data. So remember, praise process. But it's even more than that. It's convey to children a new value system, not about quick, easy, smart things, but like this. Sit around the dinner table and say, who had a fabulous struggle today? And each person shares the struggle. Or if a child does something quickly and easily, instead of rushing to tell them how good they are at it, we should say, oh, I'm sorry I wasted your time. Let's do something hard. Let's do something you can learn from. Recently, I have fallen in love with a new word, yet. I heard of a high school in Chicago where when they didn't master a unit, instead of a failing grade, they got the grade not yet. And I thought, isn't that great? Because not yet means, hey, you're on that learning curve, you're somewhere. And so if a child says, I'm not good at maths yet, it's like, get back on that learning curve. I can't do it yet. I tried, but it didn't work yet. The more research shows us that human abilities are capable of growth, the more it becomes a basic human right for students to experience that growth, to live in environments in which all students can fulfill their potential.
All right, everybody, that was Carol Dweck, and she was talking about growth mindset. There are a lot of things that we can take away from that video and what we can use in our home when we are working with our children. I want everybody just to pause for a minute and just think about some of the ways, you can use growth mindset, and maybe just sort of examples of growth mindset and fixed mindset. I mean, even in a homeschooling environment, I think that you come into this with a growth mindset, because think about it. Fixed mindset is, there's one way to do school. And growth mindset says, no, we can do school at home. We don't have to be in a classroom. We don't have to be in desks and rows. We can be in our own home, and we can learn just as well as anybody in a site-based school. So that is one of the things that we are in a growth mindset. Just you making the decision to virtually homeschool your children is one that I know probably comes with costs. I know that people probably question your decision. They probably think that you're not doing the right thing, and there might be opposition, but I support you. And I know that, your choice is a great choice. I believe you make the best choice for your children. So you're in this program with a growth mindset. What we're going to do practically. So we're going to join with me. We're going to read. Sorry, I have a cough today. We're going to read Growth Mindset by Carol Dweck, and we're going to read it from September 25th until December 4th. We're also going to trying new things at home with your children. Arts, music, sports. Look for effort, not perfection, not the right answer, and build habits. Look for different challenges. Thinking, reading. I want everybody to read an article called Stop Stealing Dreams that I'm going to send out to you as a learning coach. And think about this concept called not yet. And we really want to work on that. We're going to be implementing this. I'm going to be doing lunch bunches with our scholars a few times a week, where you can come into my learning lab at noon on a certain day of the week. I'm going to put out that calendar, and we're going to do a lunch bunch, and we're going to work on challenges and doing different things and working on this concept called not yet. And we're going to really help your students, your scholars. I have a growth mindset. So this is what you want to look at. A couple things here. You want your children thinking this way. I can always improve. Mistakes help me learn. I can learn anything that I want to. I like to challenge myself. I am inspired by people who succeed. I persevere when I am frustrated. So if your child is sitting at the kitchen table and they're like, I don't want to do it anymore, that's a great time to teach perseverance. Maybe it's not time to, continue the math lesson, but it is time to teach them perseverance. We can challenge myself, have your children do projects within your content area that are challenging. That's why we're in this program. We're not going to contain ourselves simply to the curriculum. We're going to use the curriculum, and then we're going to use everything that is around us to expand our learning. Curriculum is a tool, but we're going to grow. So that's what we're going to work on this year at Compass Charter Schools. Again, look for my form that's going to come out that's going to guide us through the book Growth Mindset by Carol Dweck. Join me in my lunch bunch where we are going to be doing growth mindset activities throughout the year. I'm going to send out this week. I'm doing them to I'm doing one this week today, but after you see the video, you won't be able to come today. So next week, you will see these on the calendar when we're going to have the lunch bunches, what we're going to do. We're going to be practicing growth mindset. Watch this video again and look for ways to implement growth mindset in your own home, in your day-to-day. It might be, the way you do your schedule. It might be what classes you take first. It might be just going to the library and picking a book for your child that's a little bit more advanced than what they do. It might be pulling them in on a project that they want to do and having them outline it, and maybe teaching them how to do a budget for a family vacation. There are a lot of ways to implement growth mindset in your day-to-day, and that's what we want to do here at Compass Charter Schools. Remember, go back to our mission and vision: inspiring, creative, innovative, self-directed scholars, preparing them for the future. That's what we're doing. I'm Stephen Thompson, your elementary school coordinator. Thank you again for listening. I will see you in the lunch bunch, and I will see you at our growth mindset reading club that we're going to start. Anyway, give me a call anytime. Thank you for listening. Bye-bye, and have a great day.